The Galactic Medical Academy's observation deck fell silent as the human instructor, Dr. Marcus Webb, rolled up his sleeves. 23 alien students from across the Federation shifted nervously in their specialized seating arrangements. The Kvaleshi, with their crystalline exoskeletons, clinked softly. The THRYNN sensory tendrils withdrew slightly, anticipating something unpleasant. Today, Marcus announced cheerfully, we're covering emergency trauma response. Human style. A worried chirp emanated from Tkri, a bird-like Avarian in the front row. Professor Webb, we've reviewed your species' medical files. Your teaching methods are considered extreme by Federation standards. Marcus grinned. That's because you're all from Garden Worlds. Let me tell you about Earth. He activated the holographic display, showing a rotating blue-green planet. Earth is a Class 12 death world. Everything there is trying to kill you. We have weather systems that can level cities, predators that hunt in packs, microscopic organisms that wage war inside our bodies daily, and don't even get me started on the radiation from our sun. The Kvaleshi student, Crystalise, raised a translucent appendage. But you survived. You thrived. How? We became stubborn, Marcus replied. And we learned to fix ourselves when things went wrong. Which brings us to today's practical demonstration. He pulled out a medical kit that looked disturbingly primitive to the alien students. No molecular reconstruction devices. No cellular regenerators. Just bandages, chemicals, and metal tools. Scenario: your teammate has been struck by debris. There's a piece of metal lodged in their thorax, or chest, for you mammals. They're bleeding out. You have 5 minutes before brain death. What do you do? The students exchanged confused glances. Star, a tentacled Neptunian, spoke up. We call for medical transport and put them in stasis while we wait for proper facilities. Your communications are down. The medical bay is 3 kilometers away. They'll die in 5 minutes. Clocks ticking. The panic in the room was palpable. These students had never conceived of a scenario where advanced technology wasn't available. They were paralyzed by the impossibility. Marcus sighed and grabbed the medical dummy. Here's what a human does. First, we assess the bleeding. If it's arterial, that's the high-pressure blood vessels, we apply direct pressure. Hard. He demonstrated, pressing down on the wound with both hands. You might break ribs. That's okay. Dead people don't complain about broken ribs. Several students gasped. Tkri looked faint. Next, if there's an impaled object, do not remove it. It's plugging the hole. Removing it means they bleed out faster. You stabilize it in place. He wrapped bandages around the protruding metal, securing it. It looks wrong. Your instincts scream to pull it out. You ignore those instincts. Crystallis's surface flickered with distress colors. This is barbaric. This is survival, Marcus corrected. Now, let's say the bleeding won't stop with pressure alone. We use a tourniquet. He pulled out a strap and tied it tightly above the wound. You're cutting off blood flow to an entire limb. Yes, they might lose that limb if it stays on too long. But they definitely die if you don't stop the bleeding. You would let them lose a limb. Star's tentacles recoiled in horror. To save their life? Absolutely. We have a saying on Earth, alive and missing parts is better than dead and complete. Marcus loosened the tourniquet for demonstration. Time of application gets written on their forehead with a marker. No fancy equipment needed, just someone who refuses to let their friend die. He moved to the next scenario. Chest wound where air is getting in. Your teammate can't breathe properly. You create a seal. He pulled out ordinary plastic wrap and tape. This is a chest seal. Literally just plastic and adhesive. You tape 3 sides, leave one open as a flutter valve. Air can escape but not enter. It's not elegant, but it works. The alien students watched in fascinated horror as Marcus demonstrated technique after technique. Using someone's own shirt as a pressure dressing. Splinting broken bones with sticks and rope. Treating burns with cool water and clean cloth. Clearing airways with nothing but fingers and gravity. None of this requires advanced technology, Marcus explained. Because humans couldn't afford to wait for technology. If you fell while hunting, if you were attacked by a predator, if you got hurt far from your tribe, you had to improvise or die. So we learned. We adapted. We survived. Tkri raised a wing timidly. Professor, what if we make mistakes? What if our interventions cause harm? Marcus's expression grew serious. Sometimes they do. Sometimes you do everything right and people still die. But here's the thing about humans, we'd rather try and fail than do nothing and watch someone die. We have another saying, do no harm, but take no shit from death. He paused, looking at each student. You all come from worlds where medical care is abundant, clean, and certain. That's beautiful. But the galaxy isn't always like that. Ship crashes happen. Colonies get isolated. Equipment fails. When that happens, you need someone who knows how to stop bleeding with their bare hands, who can stabilize a spine with cargo straps, who won't freeze when things get messy. Crystallis's colors shifted to thoughtful blue. You're teaching us to think like Deathworlders. I'm teaching you to think like survivors, Marcus corrected. The Federation is expanding into dangerous territory. New worlds, new threats, new situations where your fancy medical tech might not work. When that happens, you need to know that the fragile human next to you isn't fragile at all, they're the descendant of survivors who crawled their way up from the bottom of a deadly food chain. He held up his hands, scarred and calloused. These hands have pulled colleagues from burning wreckage. I've performed surgery with a pocket knife and bottle of whiskey. I've kept people alive on willpower and desperation. Not because I'm special, but because I'm human, and that's what we do. Star's tentacles straightened with new respect. I think I understand now. Your medicine isn't primitive, it's robust. Exactly. Marcus smiled. Now, everyone pair up. We're going to practice. And yes, it's going to be uncomfortable. Yes, you'll be squeamish. But by the end of this course, you'll be able to save a life with nothing but determination and whatever's in your pockets. As the students began their practical exercises, Tkri approached Marcus privately. Professor, I have a question. All these techniques, the pain, the risk, the desperation, doesn't it frighten humans? Marcus considered this carefully. Every time. But we have one more saying that matters most, not on my watch. When someone is dying in front of you, fear becomes secondary. You act. You fight. Because that's what humans do. We fight death itself. To our last breath, Marcus confirmed. Welcome to Deathworlder medicine. Class dismissed when everyone can tie a tourniquet in under 30 seconds. The Galactic Medical Academy would never be quite the same again.